Hey folks, Dr. Walker, welcome back to the channel. Today I'll talk a little about zinc and some of its benefits. So zinc is one of those things that is involved with so many different enzymatic reactions in the body, probably 300 plus reactions. But zinc needs a little help sometimes in terms of getting where it needs to be for certain things, like when you have colds and those kind of things, when it's dealing with those. Zinc, once inside the cell, zinc becomes a very lethal process to things like colds and flus and those kind of things, right? That's one part of zinc, right? And so the pharmaceutical companies will tell you that in their quote research that the zinc does not do a very good job in terms of those things. It doesn't reduce the severity or the duration of disease. And again, it's how they design the study, right? Zinc needs to get inside the cell for it to do a really good job in terms of doing a good job for you, right? It needs to get inside the cell, which it needs a transporter, but that's another story. I'll tell you that in just a second. But which one to take? So zinc bisglycinate is probably the one I would say to folks, try that one first. And I say try that one first because it's less caustic to your gut, right? Some of the zinc products, when you do take them, they can cause some significant belly pain. For example, zinc gluconate is one of those that I used to take a long time ago, but it causes you some significant stomach disorder, pain, and so forth. You got to take it with food and water and those kind of things. So problematic from that standpoint. The one I would not take though is zinc oxide. That one I don't take because it doesn't get absorbed very, very well. Now, my friends who are on proton pump inhibitors, this is another one of the reasons I do not like PPI proton pump inhibitors like Protonix and Prilosec. I do not like them because zinc needs strong stomach acid to break them down. Or if you're eating food with lots of zinc, you need strong stomach acid to break that food down and extract the zinc from it to get absorbed into your system. When you take a PPI, that almost doesn't happen unilaterally. It doesn't happen. If you're taking a PPI, and some doctor will tell you take it before your meal, or take it twice a day, one in the morning, one at night. Again, just the worst advice you can give to people who may be nutritionally challenged to begin with, to tell them to take the PPI with food. But again, I can't tell you to stop taking your PPI, your Protonix products. I can't tell you that. Talk with your doctor. I just do not like them. Almost on the same breath as I do not like statins for some similar reasons. I digress. So zinc needs lots of stomach acid for it to work really well. So if you're having problems getting zinc in your system and you're taking a PPI, that could be one of the reasons. But anyway, zinc bisglycinate is the one I suggest to folks to take because it's less damaging to the body. Now, when you're taking zinc, it needs to get again into the cell. And the way it gets into the cell is with things called ionophores. And those are things like quercetin. Hydroxychloroquine is also an ionophore, as is ivermectin and green tea extract, right? It needs that kind of support. So I always tell folks when they do take their zinc, take it with their ionophore. And I typically take quercetin. Quercetin is like an antihistamine as well, properties of that. But I do take them a little bit separately. So I take my zinc first, and then I'll take my quercetin an hour or two later, just so that there isn't any sort of cross reaction, if you would, and it maximizes it that way. But again, it helps to transport the zinc from being an extracellular ion into the cell, where it becomes very damaging to some bad things and keep your system sort of in good format. So that's what I do. The other thing that you should probably take with your zinc is copper, because copper gets depleted by zinc. And so what you want to do is take them essentially either together or just make certain that the ratio is about correct. It's like 10 to 1 is what people say. If you're taking 20 of zinc, you will take 2 of copper. Or you can just make certain that you're having foods high in copper, for example. Seafood, for example, is high in copper. Avocados, right? Asparagus, for example, all high copper containing foods. But anyway, it's about 10 to 1 for that ratio. For most people, I would say 30 milligrams of zinc is probably adequate. When you get unwell, then I'd go up to 50 or so. There's some people who say take 100 milligrams, but I have no contention with that. It's what I take for myself. I do about 30 every day. My wife does 30 thereabouts, and it keeps us pretty well. Okay, so those are my comments. So zinc bisglycinate is, I would take that one because it's less damaging to the stomach. Also take it with quercetin, and I do not take quercetin necessarily every day. I take quercetin probably every other day, thereabouts. When COVID was rampant, we were taking it every day, but I think a lot of folks now have had COVID to some degree, and so I do not take that every day. I take it maybe every other day, thereabouts, but I take my zinc every day. Take it every day, though. So I would do that, and just be certain again, if you do have problems taking zinc, especially if you take zinc gluconate, and again, no problems with that one, except that it causes your belly to hurt a little bit. It can. But if you take it by itself, it's going to cause some problems. If you take it with food, either in the middle of your meal, the largest meal of the day for yourself, typically it's sometimes an early dinner or late lunch, take it with that meal, and you should be okay. Anyway, thanks for listening, Dr. Walker.